Hello, nerdlings!
What's up, nerdlings?
You know what's in there? What's in there?
Broken things.
Probably now. So the question is, do you nerd for VGM?
Ooh. Really funny if this isn't the VGM box. But it is! Ba-da-da-da! It's very rattly.
So, we'll stop shaking it. This is why I don't do the disc-based games. Actually, I don't do the disc-based games because sometimes they come with the manuals and sometimes they don't. And I'm very leery about that. It's like, if I'm going to get them, I would rather the disc games be complete. Cartridges are cartridges. That's a different ball game.
Well, we come across disc-based games a lot more frequently anyway.
This is true.
This is the best way to get stuff we don't see very often.
So, speaking of this being the best way to get stuff, what is VGM?
VGM is Video Games Monthly, and they send you a box monthly full of video games.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Now, we do how many games a month?
3 games!
But
we very rarely ever get just 3 games.
Because
they always do a 1-up or a 2-up or a 50-up. Actually, they've never done a 50-up, but that would be awesome.
That would be awesome. So, alright. Well, let's see what is in the box. Who's on the cover there?
Floyd! I almost called him Roger for some reason. Roger's his little brother that plays with the Video Games Junior.
I feel like Roger would be the dad.
Oh yeah, that would be a dad. Anyway, so we have...
She likes to...
I like to make him
blind,
guess.
so...
Yes. So here is the Win Games business looking card.
So yes, they usually tell you if you share a picture of what you got in your monthly box.
You can win 3
Yeah.
free games. And then here is the card that comes
and
with
this
the box.
tells you to get online and update that list so you do not get any duplicates.
And here's our up box, our up card.
Our up card.
Our up card, and it's a 1-up card this
so
time.
instead of the 3, we get the 4.
So our free gift from VGM this time is not eatable.
They probably chose wisely there.
I think they told us in our last time not to eat this stuff. Anyway, we got a koozie or a cozy or a
nice.
What do you guys call those things?
So
drink koozies, cozies.
There's nothing better than keeping your drink nice and cold with help of
the Konami code.
Yes. So, real quick question: does anybody else use the Konami code for anything else besides Contra?
Doesn't Google do something with it?
Oh, well, I mean, it's all over the place,
Oh.
but I was more referring to other games.
Oh.
My favorite use of the Konami code is in Gradius, because it decks your ship out. You get the force fields, you get the doubles, you get missiles and the options and everything.
You get 30 lives.
You do not get 30 lives, but having all of that gear takes you a lot farther.
Would you use the Konami code on me?
To have 30 of you?
No, to have 30 lives with me.
30 lives of you. Of course I would.
That was a trap.
All right, well, let's get to the games. Rob will keep our drink for us.
So, this one is a Tecmo game.
It looks like we have Ninja Gaiden 2, The Dark Sword of Chaos. And so Ninja Gaiden 2, obviously, follow-up to the original Ninja Gaiden. But I believe that with this one, it was pretty much more of the same, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because if you like the original game, you just want to play more of it.
There's a cool dragon on the front of it.
Now, I cannot remember if it was in the first one or if it was introduced in the second one. I didn't play a whole lot of the third one. But there was a power-up where Ryu could get a, like, kind of a ghostly doppelganger. Ooh. And he was very handy because he would kind of shadow your movements, but he was, like, delayed a little. So you would jump down here, and once you hit the ground, he would stop too, but he might be hanging in the air. Super handy for certain enemies if you could position them just right, because you can be down on the ground swiping your sword and your little ghost ninja would be swiping his sword too. True story.
All right, we got more of your favorite cartoon people.
Oh no, Looney Tunes. Oh, well, we have Bugs Bunny in Crazy Castle 2. Although it's weird, the title says
Bugs Bunny 2.
I'm
basically.
sure it's supposed to say Bugs Bunny The Crazy Castle 2, but it looks like it says The Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 2.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous to even mess with this game because the AVGN videos, one of them had Bugs Bunny turn into like this really weird Woody Woodpecker, and it was like nightmare fuel.
That does not sound pleasant.
But still, it may be a fun enough game on Game Boy. I didn't play a lot of Game Boy games, so it's always nice to be able to revisit them now, or visit them for the first time now.
The last two games, there's one for you and one for me.
Okay.
So it's a Across the Seas game.
Across the Seas.
But
so,
it's a title that you really enjoy.
So it's Super Famicom, and she said title I really enjoy, so I thought Zelda, but it is Dragon Quest 5. I love the Dragon Quest games, or Dragon Warrior, as they started off here in America.
But this is not an American game, though, so you can
This is
call
Super
it
Famicom.
Dragon Quest.
So yeah, this is Japanese, which means being an RPG, there's not a whole lot I can probably do in this game.
So is this like Final Fantasy, where they're numbered wrong here versus over there?
Actually, no.
Okay, good.
But, interesting note, so Dragon Quest V was the very first Dragon Quest game on the Super Famicom, the 16-bit machine.
So they were all on the Famicom first?
Originally, yes. The first 4 were. And the first 4 were also on the NES, under the moniker Dragon Warrior, because, they can't use Dragon Quest over here. That's changed. Anyway, this was also the first game to not make it stateside initially.
Oh.
There were some issues, I think it might have been like the translation and like the board or the ROM chips or something, but it was also because the first 4 games did not sell very well over here. So for a little while, the Japanese were just like, all right, fine, then you don't get our Dragon Quest games. And it's a shame because they did re-release this on PS2 in Japan only, but they finally brought it to America on the DS, thankfully.
So we got Dragon Warrior 5 on DS then.
Dragon Quest 5 on the DS.
So they were able to call it Dragon Quest.
By that time, yes.
Well, that's nice.
And it's really cool because, guys, I will tell you this real quick. If you like RPGs, this is a very interesting one. Because as the main character, you play out his life. Like, you start from when he's born, and you play it through when he's, like, married and he's got his family and everything. And I think you actually get to play as your pregnant wife, and so I'm thinking this is like one of the first games where you got to play
weird
pregnancy.
I think Future Tom's definitely gonna have to look into that for us and let us know if this is the first pregnancy game prior to The Sims.
Oh yeah, because The Sims.
That's what I'm saying. Prior to The Sims.
The Sims would not have been.
Because that's the only thing I can think of that you ever played anything where you were pregnant in.
We'll have to see exactly what year this came out. I don't see a year on the cartridge. And by the way, just so you know, the back is a little dirty, but the front does look very nice.
Yeah.
And
all of these have been really nice labels and everything.
Of course, it's got that wonderful Toriyama art, and it totally looks like that's Gohan hooking up with Android 18. So, sorry, Krillin.
Android 18 like a robot Android?
Yes.
The chick's a robot?
In Dragon Ball Z, yes.
That's very weird.
Alright, so time for the last one.
This one is a me title.
It is a you title. I'm looking at it right now.
It is a me title. It's Yoshi!
So, Yoshi is a very fun puzzle game, and I think we got this in one form or another from them. It may have been the Famicom version.
I think so, yeah.
But it's kind of hard to keep up to because I believe we also got Yoshi's Cookie from them. Another puzzle
I think we
game.
got it in both versions too.
I think so.
Yeah, so they're making sure that I get my Yoshis.
They've got our bases for Yoshi games covered.
And I played the Cookie on the Famicom. I think we plugged it in and played with it for a little bit. It was kind of fun.
So these are some really great games.
Yeah, these are some great titles.
This one for me, regardless of if I could really play it, because I've just always wanted all the Dragon Quest games anyway, just to have.
Yeah.
I will make one note, and this is not a knock on VGM at all. I am 99% sure we have both of these NES games. However, even though we keep our list updated, they do have a 200 game cap. So those games may not register on there. Which means it may be time for me to stop playing the odds and finally shut off the NES games. So the question I have for you, nerdlings, is which other system should I go for? Ideally, I'm thinking of a disc-based system, and I was really up in the air between the Dreamcast or GameCube. Is there one over the other that you think I should go for?
I personally think Dreamcast, just because that was it is thinking, but it was such a homebrewed system. Everybody copied games, and I don't think there's like 5 games out in the wild that are real games. Everyone just made copies of every game and passed them around. So it's like, I feel like that one would be one that we don't see a whole lot of Dreamcast games for.
Well, her vote is for the Dreamcast. Let us know in the comments below what you think about any of these games, and if you think I should make the leap into the disc-based format with VGM and start hunting for the NES games on my own in the wild. I thank you, VGM, for all of the NES classics that you've sent us over the year, but it is time to, I guess it wouldn't be clip my wings, but to let me fly.
Cut the apron strings?
Cut the apron strings? I'm not wearing an apron, you guys.
I don't know. That's what you say when you want someone to go out in the real world and, you know.
All right, guys. So please, if you like this video, be sure to like it. We've got the bell because we're always putting new videos up, and you want to know when those are coming out. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to us.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for those closer upper pictures.
All right, guys. Of course, there will be a link for VGM down in the description below, so check them out, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, nerdlings.
All right, let's go. Let's go see how far we can get without understanding a word. Why, you're crazy. Crazy.
They did fun.
Crazy.
They did fun.